Greetings, lords and ladies. We've got our chai.
Ford always comments about drinking it out of a American-sized coffee cup.
She got me the proper
I did
size.
give him the little one, and I happily will use my big one.
So, cheers. This is my last chai for a while because I'm going milk-free, sugar-free.
I said you can use fake milk, but it's true. If you don't want to put sugar in it, we are not fans of the chai minus the sugar.
Yeah, I like my chai way sweet. And then we've got a musical note on the last India Connection video asked to introduce the cat. So here is Lune.
L-U-N-E, French for moon, Lune.
Hi, Lune.
She's like, why is this person who never pays me any mind holding me?
She
does not like being held,
but she's being very nice about it.
Yeah, she's a very good cat. She never gets mad, never scratches, never hisses. She's very patient with Rohan. She's such a good cat. But she always wants to be near the action, but actually not part of the action. So this is Lune. She's a very good kitty.
Yeah, even will sometimes jump up on the bed and come up to my head just to kind of say hey and then leaves.
Yeah, she's like, okay.
Very nice. Very nice kitty. In other family news, Satya performed last night.
Yes, for a music class she had at school called Rock and Roll Academy. So they had to form a band, choose a song, and perform the song.
So I haven't secured permission yet. She
doesn't want us to show anybody.
I'm having my legal team discuss it with her, a.k.a. find a way to pay her an allowance in order to release the footage. The footage is being held hostage.
Can I get permission to just post like 7 seconds as a teaser today and then release the whole thing on Monday for my Creator's Corner video?
No.
Pay you in sweatshirt.
Hey. Okay.
Hopefully be able to share that with you
on Monday for Creators Corner, so
yes,
stay tuned for that. I did want to start off with some YouTube comments. It's been a while since we've done the India Connection. Unkan Das Roy on the last India Connection YouTube video said, I saw it last night. Whatever your socio-political affiliations may be, I think you should give it a watch. It almost feels like a fiction. He is talking about An Insignificant Man, the film about Arvind Kejriwal. We'll react to that sometime soon. Not react, but review. We'll do a review. Shirarang Chatre says, what does mysticism mean, though? Never heard the word in an Indian context. Even Wikipedia has a vague definition. I do not see any parallels. Your friend might like to read about the Advaita philosophy, perhaps. I think there is this notion that in the West, we kind of associate yoga or meditation with mystical kind of things. So that's generally what makes it across the pond. But yeah, I think that's kind of what he's referring to. But yeah, I'll pass along the information about the Advaita philosophy to Blake. Or Blake, if you're watching, check that out. Fire Rocks asks, are you planning to start a separate channel for reviewing latest Indian movies, trailers, or films? We are not planning on it. Sorry.
No, not going in that direction.
We will, every now and then when we see something, like today we'll be reacting to Tushar Lal's Indian version, cross-cultural version of the Interstellar theme. So we'll still do that on occasion, especially with music. But mostly it'll be more of a review. It won't be the full video reaction because of copyright reasons. Kailash Balakrishnan asked if we're ever coming back to India. We are open to it, eventually. So one day, yeah. So Varun Saad had a link here from Sadhguru. He has some videos from Sadhguru on mysticism.
So check them out, Blake.
Yeah, so check them out, Blake. Kumar Shivraj says, give some more space to Rahul in your vlog. So it's actually Rohan, but we do want to give more space to him as time goes on.
Yeah, as we expand into adding more vlog material, we'll make sure to definitely include Rohan, which he's going to be turning 5 next month.
Yeah.
That's crazy to believe. It's funny to look back when he, on some stuff, pictures and things, when he's just a little baby in India. Like, oh my gosh, he's turning 5. He'll be starting kindergarten next year.
All right.
Can I play my earbuds with Kiki?
With Kiki, yes, you can.
Why wait?
Well, yeah, if Kiki, now if she says that you can, then that's fine, but not if you have to pester her. Do you understand? If she says that she can't do it right now, then that's, right?
Fine.
No, say yes, sir.
Yes, sir. start.
I'm going to play a little bit with you in just a little bit, okay? I just got to finish this video.
Okay. Love you.
Love you.
Kiss. Mwah. And a hug.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah, so Judah, we're doing this podcast, so shout out to our podcast, Reverse Redaction, in which we discuss mainly movies, but we kind of talk about trying to find new ways of looking at things, basically, whether it be art or music or film or technology. And he was saying how much he liked our 1 week and 1 minute videos when we were doing those way back in the day, which kind of led to our weekly vlogs, which led to our American Indian videos. So
maybe we should do
1 week and
next week, guys. You guys get 1 minute. That's it.
Maybe we should do 1 week and 1 minute as a little, just as the vlog portion, and then the people can watch that and be like, I don't want to see the rest of this talk. You know, it'd be great. If I can just get back in the frame of mind. So we'll work it out. We'll get there. I kind of would like to do that. I had fun doing this 1 week and 1 minute, but then it just got bigger. I just kept trying to do more and more and more, and then it expanded, and true to form Ford fashion, it became something too big. So Abhishek Shukla says that he thought that the documentary about Kejriwal was not biased, and he's not a fan of Kejriwal, but I think you should watch it and say something about it. It's on Vice. So yeah, it is linked on the India Connection subreddit. We haven't had any real new posts in the India Connection subreddit. We'll be going through those links here in a bit. But if you got anything you would like us to check out, do start posting back in there now that we're back at it again.
Last Drop of Poison has some stuff on mysticism. Check out that comment, Blake.
All right, well, thank you to all you responding on YouTube. Let's jump on over to the India Connection subreddit. Okay, he's living as a USA student for a couple of years. First off, like he talks about the difficulty of forming friendships, and even though he has a lot of friends, he still doesn't feel at home. He still feels very lonely. And I think even us as Americans have felt that kind of thing coming back. Yeah, why do you think that is exactly?
Yeah, I don't know, right? I don't know, but I feel that. Yep, even a year later, still feel pretty lonely.
And I think it is. I know that there were expats in India that felt the same way. Some of it is just about that cultural distance. Missing your family, missing your friends from back home, just missing being able to relate to people without conversation. Just there's certain shared experiences, certain things that just have become a part of you without you realizing it. And so that, increases that loneliness feeling. But there is something about American culture that I think has made the connection just feel, I don't know, especially once you've lived elsewhere, it does feel different.
I like that he's sharing. I think this goes beyond just cross-cultural living. I think it just goes to social media in general.
Online living, yeah.
Online living in general. You're going to show the best parts, and you're going to be able to cut it short enough that it does project this I'm living the dream, perfect happiness.
Right.
And that's just, I think, a problem of all online social media stuff.
Definitely. Right. And that's another thing that he kind of gets across. I think, I know not everyone in India, by any stretch of the imagination, has house help. But there is a significant portion of the middle class and above that have house help. So without house help, you are the house help. I mean, there are people that I would say, but it's at a much higher level in the U.S. that people have maids. Mm-hmm. Or wouldn't you say that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be financially way higher, I would say.
Or dual income families. Actually, there's a lot of people our age.
Right.
Who have maids, but both the husband and wife work.
Right, full time. And they're making bank. So yeah, it's a little bit less prevalence of some form of house help or, garbage or these kinds of things. Like you're gonna, like he's saying, you're doing all of it. Granted, the infrastructure makes some of this easier than it would be like in Delhi, because Delhi, the weather just makes it so hard to maintain stuff. Yeah. And that's not India's culture's fault. It's just the weather is just hard. Yes.
Is always attacking your house, no matter what you do.
Somewhat the manner of construction's fault, because not everything, unless you're really in a nice area, not everything is really flush. So it seems like dust just manages to get in windows and stuff like that. in a way that like in Albuquerque would not deal with that, right? I mean, the houses are made in such a way you're not going to get dust on the floor all the time. So it's a little easier to maintain in the U.S., but you are doing it. You're not really deferring to someone else. You're not going to be able to hire somebody for, you know, pocket change to be able to do that thing.
I do not post pictures of me doing laundry on social media.
Yeah.
Out in New York City or any of the other big cities and you do not have a car, and if you are a
that's true.
active person like I am who always likes to do things, your life is going to get cut down straight away from India to the U.S.
Yeah, he's absolutely right on that. America outside of the big city hubs from, you know, Chicago, LA, San Francisco, New York, they're all very well connected. You can get around without a car. But in these other places, like even some other big cities, pain to get around without a car.
I mean, unless you want to spend through the nose for taxis. But that's the thing. It's going to cost you so much.
Uber makes things better now, I imagine.
But still,
like I haven't.
it's still so
right.
expensive.
That's
Uber's
true.
still so expensive.
Uber is way cheaper.
I mean, if
in
you're
India,
a student,
yes,
like for him, right? He's like, you don't have the money to
he
just
is-
throw around.
He is
to do
absolutely
stuff.
right. Like we have had
So-
such a difficulty this year having one car. In India, having one car wasn't a big deal. In Delhi, it was not that big of a
Because
deal.
I just always hopped in an auto
Yeah,
or whatever.
or I just walk. I mean, sometimes I would walk all the way to Hoscos Village from our place. I had no problem doing that. Like here, if I were to walk to work, that would take me 3 hours or something like that. Like it's just everything is sprawled, even in smaller cities. We have been such a we've modeled our cities around the car, and it is kind of, that's a really good observation. That's a good cross-cultural observation right there. Yeah, and that's a great point too. I mean, Kunal, when we met him in Tallahassee that day, it was Thanksgiving weekend, and so FSU is like dead. I mean, and so, you know, if he didn't have a car, so he'd have to like get a ride, and if people aren't there, I mean, again, that really restricts you. Tallahassee is not easy to get around without a car, so yeah, that's a really good point. And almost all these major universities are in smaller towns.
Yeah, so pretty. Yeah, and it's true that there's not. I mean, Tallahassee is the capital of Florida, so there will be some cultural things to do.
Right.
But it's true. On breaks during summer, college towns are pretty low key.
Yeah,
There's not a lot to do.
Tallahassee, Gainesville, Athens, and Georgia.
The university is kind of the thing to
the
do.
thing. It's the hub. And I mean, you talk about it, almost inflates the population of that city by 2 times, almost. I mean, the amount of students there are almost half the population of the town. I have to give the guy a shout out because he could have taken some easy pot shots at whatever. You know, I'm sure he's dealt with some racism or frustrations and stuff like that, and he didn't even like this. Just, you know, we tried not do that when we were in India, or to, you know, with those bad experiences we had, like on the street with somebody, you know, cheating us, or whatever, you know, like we try not to make a big deal about that kind of stuff. And the fact that, you know, he could have taken that. I thought that was what the video was going to be, and that's why I hadn't watched it. I thought for sure he was just going to
like be slamming the
come down on us. And some of that's earned. Like it still happens. Anyways, I just thought, yeah, that was a great video. I agree with everything he said.
But yeah, he painted an honest picture of the struggle.
It is.
The lonely struggle.
And I think it's real easy to say, you know, first world problems, America's so hard. It's like, yeah, but there are these, I don't know, there are deep things that they're hard to articulate, you know, but something's still not right, you know, with modern society. Something's still not right. And you know, I think an Indian will feel that. And I think most immigrants will feel it. Or, you know, expats who are going to, you know, head back. A lot of it's the family, missing the family, a lot of it's missing friends. Good on you. That was a good link. Thank you to Shriv Ayush for submitting that. I don't want this video to go an hour long because we want to transition over to our live stream that we did on Sunday. For those of you who didn't make it on Sunday, do tune in Sunday, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time in the U.S. or 7:30 p.m. in India. We will be doing another live stream. We start off the hour talking about Creators Corner, creative things that we found during the week. And then we'll transition into the India Connection part. So bring back those Ask America Anything questions to the India Connection. We'll go through those on Sunday, or you can ask them live on twitch.tv/TheSurfingViolinist. And we're not married to that time slot, but we'll be doing it.
That's just what's going to work for right
for now.
now.
We are going to move on to the India Connection. We have a ton of stuff to kind of catch
we
up
haven't,
on.
well, I haven't made a video in a couple
We haven't
weeks,
made a
so.
video since before Christmas, so here we go. We're going to dive in. I'm going to show you what some of the links that we've got here. This is a
I love it. Water with or without ice. I'm like, oh, awesome.
Iowa D asked the question. Hey guys, this question probably will lead into a deep conversation. I've always wondered why people get water with ice when usually the water is already quite cold, in the Midwest at least. True. I always get water no ice, as sometimes there's so much ice you run out of water in your
Yes.
glass very soon.
Always.
And you have to wait for the ice to melt or
Yes.
get refilled. Your thoughts, what do you get with or without ice? Happy holidays. Wish you guys a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Enjoy Dhanraj. Okay. This is pretty fantastic.
No, yeah, okay. In America, you always have cold drinks, and you always have ice in your cold drinks. I did my student teaching in Budapest, Hungary, and in Europe, or at least you don't do ice in your drinks. And so that was kind of my first experience where I stayed with a family, and you just had a pitcher of water out on the counter, so you were always drinking room temperature water, which I thought was really strange and weird. But now I don't care about drinking room temperature water.
Oh, man. No. Yeah. So I did not think this way until I went to India. And I remember I went to Europe when I was younger, like I was in high school, and we spent just a couple days in Germany and Belgium. And I just was like, oh, no ice. What is that? And then I went to India in 2002. And, well, in 2002, especially in Varanasi, like, you can forget about it, just forget about it. You're not drinking ice in your water.
You're gonna give yourself some sort of
Well, back then, especially.
bacteria thing.
So,
if you drink
and I
ice.
did get like legendarily sick. I thought I was gonna die. I had seizures and stuff. But yeah, that changed my mind a little bit. But then I came back and I backslid into drinking ice and drinks again. And then, but after moving back to India and living there for 5 years, first of all, like you said, the wasted space thing became an
Yes.
issue in India, because if you go to the movie theater, for instance, I mean, first world problems here, but you go to the movie theater and you get a Coke and they put ice in it. If they put ice in it in the movie theater, well, their Cokes in India movie theaters, at least, 5 years ago, were
Well, no,
the large was like our small,
Yeah, and that is the general, right? In America, we have, like, here, get this massive size drink, which is so funny. Okay, so when we went to India, it was like, oh my gosh, their drinks are so small. Like, you go to McDonald's, and this is the size drink that you get with your meal. You go to McDonald's in America, like, you get this size drink with your meal. I remember thinking, oh my gosh, the drinks are so small here. And now, coming back to America, I'm like, why do we give people such massive drinks with their meals?
Oh, okay. So here's the Twitter joke for the day right here. Someone put this, sir.
That is an American sized drink.
That's right there. So he's taking the KFC chicken bucket and he's filling it up with something. So I put
my gosh.
consumption.exe. Like that's consumerism in a nutshell right there, folks. But that's not, the crazy thing is not that out of the realm of possibility for the size of our drinks.
Yeah.
Some of our drinks, you go to like these convenience stores and they're like 128 ounces or something like that.
And then it's fun, like, having conversations with people about cup holders. So this one girl, I can't remember who I was having this conversation with, she got a car, and it was a more European car, and it either didn't have cup holders, or the cup holders were really small. And in America, you gotta have cup holders. You must have cup holders in your car. And, like, they have to be massive because you gotta hold your extra large size drink. But it's true. And I do find this in America also, the whole, okay, it's really frustrating. You get a drink, it's literally this much ice and then this much drink.
Right.
It's true. And I should just ask for no ice, because that would just be the smart thing to do. But here in America, everyone puts massive amounts of ice in it.
And then, in India, like, I got to the point where I wouldn't even drink refrigerated water. I just drink room temp water, straight out of RO. Or I did notice that. I mean, people would say, "So did me," like you drink it too much, you get a sore throat.
Oh yeah, don't drink cold water.
But in truth, like, I kind of felt like that. I mean, I did, especially in the super heat of the summer. Like, So I got to the point where yeah, I just didn't like drinking it. So now I drink room temperature water
Yeah.
nonstop. Hi, Ford Melissa. Recently subscribed to your channel. Love the channel and the many topics and perspectives you explore here. I can definitely relate to being a fish out of water. I'm a Bengali, but both my parents grew up in UP, Uttar Pradesh, those who don't know. While I grew up in Hyderabad, we do have a few Americans in the audience. I did my 9th and 10th grade in the U.S., Columbus, Ohio.
Wow.
Had come with parents and went back to Hyderabad after that. Spent 2 years working in Bangalore. And now I'm in Arizona for my master's on my own. Have a minor question. Do you think fishes out of water tend to usually have more unbiased views on topics compared to the general population? Man, that's a good
I know,
question, sir.
man. You do get the whole fish out of water.
Yeah, I think it does help. But here's the problem with the fish out of water. When you go back to your water, I mean, for me, that's been true, especially about opinionated person that talks too much. You end up alienating your other fish back in your home pond because you're like, well, that's, I've seen this, I've seen this, I've seen this, I've seen this. You don't know what it's like. And yeah, it can be kind of difficult to connect. And then also they've continued on with whatever their dream is, so like we come back to American right now, it's just all college football. I think it's almost over, but just college football, American football. So it's, if you're not into it, you just, there's going to be 10% of conversation that you're just going to not get, tune out. So I do think it can help you understand other cultures better, but then it can also make you kind of a jerk with your own culture. And so there's a while, go ahead.
Right. So I don't know. Unbiased. That's a hard word. Like, would we say that we have more unbiased views on topics? I wouldn't say necessarily unbiased. I think we always will have some biased view. But I think that hey.
Neil Halloy, thank you for following.
I think we have a bigger picture, a broader view.
Yeah, and I think you need time. I think you have to have time to kind of let this stuff germinate so that you're not just going in like, all guns blazing, like trying to change people's minds in your home culture or whatever. So I made that cross-cultural awareness chart. I wish I had it up right now. We'll discuss it. Probably this is one of these things will come up, and I'd kind of like to refine the chart because it's a little bit muddy. But the idea is you've got 4 different quadrants, and they're basically proximity. Like, so you're close to a culture and you're a true believer in it. You're close to the culture, but you've gotten disenfranchised. You've gotten cynical you've seen the bad things that this culture does, and so you've kind of moved out. And so you're still close. You have knowledge, but you're sick of it. And then you've got someone who's far away from the culture and only sees the good things. So you say like the Beatles going to India, and they're like, oh, enlightenment. And then you've got on the other corner the people who are far away from the culture, know nothing about it, but hate it. So you could think about typically like a colonist who has no desire to learn anything about the culture they're colonizing. You think about, typically a missionary or maybe a businessman from another place who comes into the new culture, learns none of the language, and who just is they're intent on their mission, whether it's making money or converting people. So they're just totally blinders. Like, I don't want to learn anything about this culture. These people are terrible. So those 4 ways are like different ways that we interact with the culture. And I found myself bouncing between all 4 of them. And I really think the most healthy place is to be right in the middle, where you dance on all 4 of those edges, where you just kind of rinse, repeat, and recycle. You just keep going around and around in this circle in which you try to get some distance, say, okay, what are we doing wrong in my culture? Ooh, that is bad. Then you go well, let's find some people who still do this thing that I disagree with, but who aren't bad people. Oh, well, that makes me not so mad about it because I get where this person's coming from a little bit. If you only stay in one of those places, it just makes you bitter. So I think fish out of water, if we're careful and if we take time, we can follow that process. And so for you, especially for Slasher71, I mean, it sounds like you're already doing that. I mean, you've been, Bengali in UP to Hyderabad. I mean, already that's that's like
then Bangalore.
And then Bangalore, and then back to Arizona. Yeah, I mean, in Arizona, in a way, it's culturally way different from us here. So
way different from Columbus, Ohio.
Oh yeah. So I mean, you've got just so many different. You're probably going through that cycle a lot. You're like, I like this about this culture, but I don't like about this. I think what we need in our world is less of the kind of multiculturalism that just paints a broad brush and says we're all the same. And then on the opposite side of that, a nationalism that says it's my way or the highway. Like you need to kind of be able to be optimistic about optimistic and critical at the same time. Like that's the difficulty. Like you gotta be optimistic about your culture, but critical. You gotta be optimistic about a different culture, but discerning, you know? So like finding ways to kind of take the best from different places, if that makes any sense. Okay, that's highlights of some of the Twitch stream in which we're answering some Ask America Anything / India Connection questions, looking at some links. There are many more of them in the Twitch stream. I will include that video. The whole thing is up there on Twitch. You can go watch it. The cool thing about Twitch is it has the comments pop up, the chat box on the right where people, type their live questions. It has them pop up time-stamped right when where the video was when the person typed the comment. So you can actually like retroactively go in and respond to comments now. Like he's like, oh, I liked that thought, and you could go become a part of that conversation, that chat log right now. So I'll timestamp where we're stopping here in this India Connection portion of the Twitch stream. And for anybody who's interested in going seeing more of it, then go do that. We do have one more link we did want to respond to today, and I'll jump back to me and Melissa talking about that. Oh, we have one other thing to respond to before we... Our good buddy
and longtime viewer of the channel,
Neeraj, sent us this link, and we've actually gotten quite a few requests to respond to some of Tushar Lal's work, so we're going to check out his reinterpretation of Interstellar theme music. All right, resubbed, liked that one. That was fantastic. Have you seen Interstellar yet?
no. So super helpful. I'm like, doesn't pull any heartstrings for me because I've never even seen the movie.
Yeah.
You're like trying to keep it together over there. I'm like, oh my gosh, he's about to cry, right?
Yeah, that for me was like that song in Swades, the Ye Jo Des Hetera.
If you sing some of it, I'll know it.
I can't sing it, but it's the montage where he's missing India. He's seeing India everywhere he goes when he's back at NASA. That was like that for me, just hearing the flute and hearing the tabla and sitar. So, and then the context of that movie, I like how they used the clips there. Yeah, no, that movie's great. I actually got to watch that with, I think it was Suveen. Let me see it. Let me check. It was me and Suveen. So he reached out to me, and he had a test the next day, so he's studying while he was reading, or while he's watching. He'd already seen the movie, but he went and watched it with me. That's worth a revisit. We should definitely watch it. You should see it. That was a great trailer for the movie. Probably better than any trailer that Hollywood could make. So yeah, Tushar Lal and the India Jam Project. Fantastic work. All right, well, that's going to be it. Tune in Sunday morning. We might have some guests with us. So we'll be cramming in around this little webcam here.
Nice.
It'll be a fun little thing, hopefully. So until next time.
Keep it creative.
Keep it cross-cultural.
And constructive, YouTube.
Thank you very much. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention, don't forget to tune in Friday for Building a Better Me, our show about battling depression and finding one's place in a very weird world, trying to be a more creative and cross-cultural and constructive person, and to stay strong and stay glorious. So that's what that show is going to be about. Tune back in Friday. If you missed the first episode, you'd like to catch up with that, it is linked in the description below. Thank you very much.